Team MVP, overall record, best newcomer. These superlatives for Tennessee football this fall. Who's going to win them? That and so much more. It's your Wednesday Locked On Vols.
You are Locked On Vols, your daily podcast on the Tennessee Volunteers. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody? Happy Wednesday morning. Welcome to Locked On Vols, your spot for Tennessee football news and entertainment. Weekday mornings when you wake up, we are free and available wherever you get your podcast. I'm Eric Kane, your host here and a part of the VolQuest.com team covering Tennessee athletics each and every single day. In today's episode, it is brought to you in part by our friends over at Game Time, where you can download the Game Time app, create an account, put in the promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Again, that is over at Game Time. So, thought we'd have a little bit of fun here on the Wednesday show. Just a little concept I came up with. All right, just early superlatives for the football team. Record, MVP. We can even break it down to offensive MVP, defensive MVP, stuff like that. Bold take, all that and more. Let's have some fun with it. We'd love to hear your thoughts on all these as well at _Kaner and at Locked On Vols. An early look at the Tennessee baseball team for segment number 2 for the 2026 baseball team, knowing that the transfer portal is a big deal and there's going to be additions, subtractions, the Major League Baseball draft, all that and more coming up in segment number 2. And then ESPN, predicted order of finish in the Southeastern Conference. Tennessee's pretty high, higher than I thought, but when it goes off the Football Power Index, it makes a whole lot of sense. What is ESPN saying about the University of Tennessee and where it's going to finish in the SEC this fall? All that and more coming up here on today's show. So let's think about it. Starting from the top, okay, this is not official. Again, this is the month of June. My official predictions are going to come later in fall camp towards the end of August and towards the start of the regular season. But for the month of June, it's June, okay? Let's give out our predicted record prediction. That makes sense. Let's give our record prediction for the fall. ESPN's FPI believes Tennessee is a 9-3 football team, 8.7 wins to 3.4 losses. That is a 9-3 football season, although it is kind of close to 8-3. I'm going to go 9-3 right now as well. I reserve the right to change that as closer we get to the football season, but I think Tennessee, just from a roster standpoint, is good enough to be 9-3 in the regular season. Now, we've talked about that. A lot of you guys who are everydayers, you know that that's how I feel anyway, so that might not be breaking any news. But I think Tennessee's going to be a 9-3 football season. Now, who is going to be the team MVP? Let's break this up offensively and defensively, shall we? Okay, offensively, new quarterback, new receivers, new running backs, and 4 starting offensive linemen who were not starting offensive linemen a season ago. You return your tight ends. That's pretty much it. When I think of offensive MVP, I think of production. So who is going to be the most productive offensive player on Tennessee's side of the football? Is it going to be the quarterback? You hope so. You hope one of those quarterbacks, whether it be Jake Merklinger, George McIntyre, or the favorite, in my opinion, to win the job in Joey Aguilar, to take that job and run with it and be productive and obviously not turn the football over and explosive plays, all those things we talked about at the end of last week, right? You hope it's the quarterback, but I'm going to go with the running backs. Okay, but which one, right? Which one? Are we going to go Deshaun Bishop like we talked about yesterday, or are we going to go with Peyton Lewis? I'm going to go with Peyton Lewis because I want to continue to doubt Deshaun Bishop because I think Deshaun Bishop, not when I doubt him, but when everybody doubts him, right? When everybody's doubting him, I just think he just continues to plug away. And it's such a really, really good tailback. He's had a really, really good career so far, and he's going to be the lead back in Tennessee's backfield. But I do think it's a 1A, 1B situation. Him and Peyton Lewis are going to split time a lot. So the guy with, in all due respect, the higher upside, right? I mean, Peyton Lewis is faster. He's more athletic. Peyton Lewis or Deshaun Bishop, so far as, adapted to the college game quicker, and he's been more effective and everything. But Peyton Lewis obviously did pretty well when he got some opportunities. But I think I'm going to pick a running back that is the most productive. And for me, I think that's going to be Peyton Lewis. I'm taking a big sophomore leap with Peyton Lewis. So that is going to be my offensive MVP. Defensive MVP. I think it's going to be Boo Carter because I don't think Jamal McCoy plays all 12 games. I hope he does, regular season. I hope he does. But, of course, coming off an ACL tear in December, is he going to be, 100% to kick things off in September? I don't know. So with that being said, I'm going to take Boo Carter. I think Boo Carter's interceptions are going to go up this year. He only had one last year. I think he's going to rush the quarterback and sack the quarterback some, coming off the edge. I think that he's going to be a very disruptive player in and out of the box. So defensive MVP, and maybe I'm swayed a little bit because I know he's going to return kicks, and we'll see what he does on offense. But I couldn't have this MVP conversation without Boo Carter, and that kind of goes back to top 5 players on Tennessee's roster right now, and my number 1 was Boo Carter because Jermon McCoy's hurt right now. So give me Boo Carter as the defensive MVP. Most improved. I think if you want to do an offensive and defensive one, I think that there's actually I can't do that because both the guys I'm thinking of are on offense. If you want to do a 1A and a 1B situation, I think this can work. But my most improved is going to be Mike Matthews. And sure, a lot of you guys might be saying, well, how can he be most improved? Maybe he was good enough to play last year and we just didn't get to see it. I mean, maybe, but something tells me if he was good enough to play last year, he would have played. I'm not trying to say that he wasn't good. I'm just trying to say that they had other options they trusted more than a true freshman. Now, that is a conversation in itself. Is that right? Is it wrong? Yada, yada. But the fact that he barely played last year and the fact that he's going to probably be Tennessee's wide receiver number 1, if we're, these are based on production, right? I think he's going to be productive this year. So give me Mike Matthews to be the most improved offensive player. I will accept Lance Hurd at left tackle. I think that's a good one. If you were to say Lance Hurd being the most improved player, I would probably say you're right because Lance Hurd has dropped a couple of pounds, which has been good. He's healthy. He's been working out this summer, and he's certainly looking to take a step because he was really derailed with an offseason procedure that really took place in the summer, and that kind of derailed him for fall camp and kind of put him behind the A-ball a little bit. And he played behind the A-ball the entire season last year out of shape. And so if you're going to say Lance Hurd, I think that's a really, really good answer. Best true freshman. Immediately, everybody's going to say David Sanders. Give me Ethan Utley. I think it's one of the defensive tackles, freshman defensive tackles, Isaiah Campbell or Ethan Utley. I will accept Isaiah Campbell, but I'm going to go with Ethan Utley. I think he's really improved with his strength, his athleticism. I think he's put on some really, really good weight. Skinny when he got here. I think he's putting on some good weight. I like Ethan Utley as the best true freshman. Now, we know he's not going to get a ton of run, but he should be in the starting, the rotation, not the starters, but he should be in that rotation on the defensive line. Rodney Garner loves to play 6 defensive tackles. Well, we know Bryson Eason, Jackson Moy, David Hobbs are going to be the top 3. After that, is it going to be the one that they just got from the transfer portal? Is it going to be a Nathan Robinson if he's healthy? Jamal Wallace, is he healthy enough to play? It's probably going to be one of the Isaiah Campbell or Ethan Utley, but any way you spin it, that's 4 and 5. I mean, he's going to play. So give me Ethan Utley as best true freshman in this superlative. Best newcomer. I added this one. I added all these. But I added the newcomer specifically because I wanted to be different from true freshman. So which transfer do I think is going to be the best? Give me Colton Hood, man. I really, really like the Colton Hood edition, and maybe more so for years to come. But I still do think that his addition is going to create some serious flexibility and versatility in the defensive backfield. Until Jermon McCoy is 100% ready to roll, he's going to play a lot of cornerback. And I think he's going to free up Jalen McMurray to go play some star. So Boo Carter can go and play some wide receiver and so on and so forth. Or, maybe one of those guys shifts back and plays safety. I don't know. But I think Colton Hood is going to provide some serious flexibility, and I think that's a great thing. So give me Colton Hood as the best newcomer. And my bold take. I don't know if I'm ready for this bold take yet because Tennessee doesn't know. I don't know who Tennessee's starting quarterback is. It's really hard to have a bold take about the season in general when you don't know who the starting quarterback is going to be. What I want my bold take to be is Tennessee goes to Alabama and beats the Crimson Tide. I am not, until I see it happen, I am not Brent Hupp style, see it to believe it. I am not picking Tennessee to win in the Swamp until it happens, okay? I feel better about playing at Alabama and winning at Alabama than I do at Georgia at home in Week 3. I think Alabama's going to be a good team. I don't think Alabama's going to be a great team. Still, that's asking one of Jake Merklinger or Joey Aguilar to go to what they say, what they call, I don't call it that, but what they call Titletown, and to win. That's asking a lot. Not saying it can't happen, but I would like to have a better understanding of the quarterback situation before I'm going to make that type of bold take. So you heard the bold take that I want to make, and that's that. Bold take. What should it be? Bold take. Here we are. Bold take on June the 10th. Tennessee is right back in the college football playoff. Some of you guys might not say that's bold enough because there's 12 teams, and certainly there's about to be 16 teams. Again, I go back to I don't know who the starting quarterback for Tennessee is going to be, but I like Tennessee's roster so much. And again, this is a bold take. This is a bold take. It's called bold for a reason, right? It's like you're throwing darts at the board blindfolded, right? I'm just throwing something up. It's a bold take. But I like the roster. You guys know this. You're everydayers. You know how much I like the roster. I love this roster. I think this is a good, not just competitive, I think this is one of the better rosters, accumulation of talent in this league. I do. There's questions, but there's a lot of unproven questions. Like, once we see these guys play, maybe it's going to take care of itself. So, anyway, record. This is all on June 10th. Record. 9-3. MVP offensively, Peyton Lewis. Defensively, did I do a defensive one? No, I did most improved. No, I did a most improved. Boo Carter. MVP Boo Carter. There we go. Most improved. Give me Mike Matthews. Best true freshman. Give me Ethan Utley. Best newcomer, Colton Hood. And bold take, Tennessee is back to the college football playoffs. Let me hear your bold predictions and whatnot. Let me hear what you guys have for these superlatives at _Caner and at Locked On Vols. Of course, you can comment on the YouTube channel of this show and let me know that as well. An early look, way too early look at the 2026 Tennessee baseball team. That is coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. There's nothing like the NBA playoffs. The intensity, the buzzer beaters, the fans losing their minds. It's kind of like the atmosphere that you must experience live, and this year's matchups are already delivering. So if you want in, Game Time makes it fast and easy to get seats. Even for the biggest playoff games, prices on the app, they actually drop. Get this. They actually drop the closer you get to tip-off, and they stay available about an hour after tip-off, right? And with the killer last-minute deals, great views of your seats, and no surprise fees at checkout, Game Time is a total game changer. I was just looking up the app, and I noticed some tickets out there available for the Tennessee football season as well. You can go ahead and get a jump starts on the tickets to for this game and that game and all that and more for football season, not just Tennessee or in your area, not just sports as well. It can be concerts, it can be comedy shows, it can be whatever's happening that they sell a ticket for. Chances are you can get in on the Game Time app. So check it all out today. Take the guesswork of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, put in the promo code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, go ahead and create that account. Redeem code LOCKEDONCollege for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. So the Tennessee baseball season just ended. I know it wasn't great. It was at Arkansas, a fan base don't really like and all that. And it's a fan base that claims to be at the top of the sport in baseball, but has never won a national championship. Maybe this year's the year. That's a really, really good baseball team. But nonetheless, Arkansas took down Tennessee in super regional play, and Tennessee's baseball season is over. So many people got to thinking immediately after the game or following the game, the next day, yesterday, it was like, well, what's next year going to look like? Who do we have coming back? Who's gone? What's going on in recruiting? What's going on in the transfer portal? So I accumulated kind of a way too early a look piece over at VolQuest.com yesterday. It's a free piece. You can go check it out if you so please. And I kind of broke it down into sections, incoming recruiting, transfer portal, junior college additions, current players who will go to the NFL or Major League Baseball draft, the returners pitching, and the returners position players. So I thought we kind of work through each section real quick and kind of give you a synopsis on kind of what's going on. What you need to know right now, and again, talking about the House settlements in yesterday's show and how the numbers, how it's going to affect sports like baseball. Tennessee's got 25 guys signed right now. Now, 5 or 6 of those guys are going to go to the draft. When I mean by go to the draft, I mean they are going to get drafted and sign professional contracts. But still, that's like 19 to 20 guys. And if your roster's at 34, I mean, it's tough, right? But nonetheless, Tennessee right now, the number 2 recruiting class in the country per perfect game. 7 Tennessee signees commits are currently listed in MLB Pipeline's top 200. Guys like Billy Carlson, Cruz Schoolcraft, Cameron Appenzeller, Steele Hall, Ethan Moore. They're going to be tough to get to campus. I'm just going to be completely honest with you. But that recruiting class top to bottom is good, and it's the best work so far of Tony Vitello, Josh Elander, and Ross Kivitz, doing so far. They've done a phenomenal job. So that's kind of where you are in terms of the recruiting. Transfer portal at the time of this recording, again, things change by the minute, and I am recording this specific segment before I leave Fayetteville, so this is Monday afternoon. But at the time of this recording, Tennessee's only lost a trio to the transfer portal. Only one guy on the active roster, and that was Bryson Thacker, but Robinson Martin, Jack Jones, two guys who redshirted this past year. There will be more, okay? There are going to be more. But Tennessee's also added 3 via the transfer portal, and all 3 of them have been right-handed pitchers so far. And Clay Edmondson from UNC Asheville, Mason Estrada from MIT. Yes, MIT has a baseball program. And Bo Rudy from Kennesaw State. The first 2, Edmondson and Estrada, very much draft risk. So those are already 3 guys from the transfer portal. Tennessee's also signed 2 guys in recent weeks from junior college. Another draft risk in Matt Barr from Sunny Niagara. That is a junior college, and he's listed, I think, 173 in MLB Pipeline's top 200 prospects. I'd say he's probably going to the draft for sure. And then an interesting one in Tyler Myatt, Walter State. Triple Crown winner for most home runs, best average, and most RBI in junior college this past year. National Junior College Player of the Year. Committed to Tennessee. East Tennessee boy, Tazewell, Tennessee, Claiborne County High School. How about that? Draft risk, but also really wants to wear the orange. So, Tennessee picked up his commitment, I think that was last week. And so that's kind of what Tennessee's been doing here lately. So that's junior college, a little bit of transfer portal as well. These are players who Tennessee will/could lose to the Major League Baseball draft. Liam Joel is going to be a top 5 pick. Gavin Keelan's going to be a first-round pick. Andrew Fisher is going to be borderline first-round pick. Marcus Phillips is going to be a second-round pick. Dean Curley is going to be probably a second-round pick. A.J. Russell, Nate Snead, Tanner Franklin, Brandon Arvinson, Cannon Peebles, and I said Tanner Franklin. All those guys are probably going to be 2, 3, 4 rounds. So, A.J. Russell, Nate Snead, Tanner Franklin, probably around that round 2 to round 3. Tennessee's losing a lot. That is an awful lot of talent right there. And plus, you throw in the fact that Dalton Bargo and Reese Chapman, they can come back. They're a bit of tweeners. I think that both will get drafted and go the professional route because, again, if you come back after your junior year, you lose leverage, okay? You look at what these guys did over the course of a season in the Southeastern Conference. I know it didn't end well. I understand that. But I think Reese Chapman and Dalton Bargo, in my opinion, both will be drafted, and I think they'll both go. And then there's Hunter Inslee, who will pursue a professional route for sure, but of course he's exhausted his eligibility. So that's a lot of guys that you're saying goodbye to. That's tough, but that's kind of how it is. You look at the returners on the pitching staff for Tennessee. Tennessee's going to be looking for a left-handed starter. Tennessee's going to be looking for a ton of bullpen help because right now this is really all that you have coming back. You got Dylan Loy, who led the SEC, tied for the SEC lead in appearances in the regular season. That was with 29. I think he had 34 appearances overall. He was the bridge guy. He was the Kirby Cannell, I'm going to use you multiple times throughout the weekend type guy. He's coming back, and his role potentially could be the same, or they could expand it. He's got versatility. He could start games if needed. Braden Krenzel, really excited about him. He was one of the top bullpen arms, one of the bullpen arms that they used every weekend. As a true freshman, I think that he's going to have a bright future, and I think he could potentially start for Tennessee next year. Tegan Kuhns, now he's interesting. He was Tennessee's number 3 starter for much of the season. They never treated him truly like a number 3 starter. It was more like an opener. He flashed for sure. He struggled at times. He did not pitch at all over 2 weekends in SEC play and postseason play. Now, Tennessee didn't get to a game 3 in Fayetteville, but he did not pitch at all in 6 games for Tennessee in postseason play. So that one's kind of interesting, but certainly he's got the most experience in terms of a starting pitcher set to return, next year. So there's that. And then you got other guys like, a lot of junior college guys that got their toes wet this year. Michael Sharman, Austin Breedlove, who had some moments, Thomas Crabtree. I'm not going to mention all these guys, but certainly Andrew Banky. There's a lot of Banky believers out there, and a Tennessee in-state guy certainly had his moments in 24. think that he entered the season in 25 hurt and never really recovered, but a veteran guy that's supposed to come back as well. So there's that. Look at the position players, and it's kind of bleak, guys. Right? You're set to lose your entire infield. Again, Fisher's gone to the draft. Curley's gone to the draft. Keelan's gone to the draft. I believe Cannon Peebles is going to be drafted. That leaves Manny Marin, and Manny Marin's a glove first guy that ended up being a starter this year. Set to return him, and of course we'll see what happens with Dalton Bargo and Reese Chapman. But I think there's still so much talent on this roster, like Jay Abernathy, Chris Newstrom, Levi Clark. All those guys are going to be, really, really good players for Tennessee coming back. Ariel Antigua is, the defensive wizard at shortstop. Blake Grimmer, Stone Lawless. Again, the cupboard's not bare. There's a lot of talent left here, but certainly even some of those names I just mentioned, I'm sure some of those names I just mentioned, there'll be some casualties to the portal. That's just how it is. Tennessee's obviously got to go and attract some from the portal as well and kind of get some help. But that's kind of where I am right now in terms of a way too early look at Tennessee baseball's 2026 roster. Again, Tennessee's going to attack the portal hard. I expect a couple of visitors this week, okay? And I couldn't even tell you what a lineup can be right now because I don't know who's going to be on the roster. I think Levi Clark's going to be a starter. I think Jay Abernathy's going to be a starter. I think Chris Newstrom's going to be a starter. I think Blake Grimmer will play a big role, hopefully a starter, but we'll see. I mean, I don't know, right? I mean, I think Braden Krenzel, Tegan Coons, I think those are Dylan Loy, I think those are some of your pitchers. Then we'll see what happens, right? So I just wanted to kind of get a glance and see what this baseball team could look like next year. Of course, there is a lot to be decided in that regard. Last thing we're going to do here on a Wednesday morning, okay? ESPN. What does it say about the Tennessee? The predicted order of finish per ESPN for the SEC this football season. Where's Tennessee placed? Might be a little higher than you think. That's coming up next right here on Locked On Vols. Where's Tennessee going to finish in the Southeastern Conference this football season? Tennessee lost its starting quarterback that, started every game for a college football playoff team. Tennessee said goodbye to a really talented running back that's broke a couple single-season records at the University of Tennessee and Dylan Sampson. Tennessee had to say goodbye to a first-round draft pick on the defensive line. Tennessee's best defensive player, Jermon McCoy, tore his ACL. There's a lot of things going against the University of Tennessee right now, right? Especially from a national perspective, when quite frankly, these national reporters, they're not on the ground every single day. They don't know the team, so they don't really know, right? That's just kind of my opinion on that. But when you're trying to predict the order of finish, like I'm going to be honest with you, we got our SEC Media Day credential emails the other day. Like if you want to go to SEC Media Days, here's where you sign up and all that. Like Tennessee, out of the 16 teams in the SEC, Tennessee's going to be voted like 8th or 9th. I promise. Tennessee's going to be like anywhere from 7th to 9th in my opinion, okay? It's because, number one, there's a lot of fanboys that go to that act like media. Number two, just people don't understand how good this roster is for Tennessee. And they're going to look at the whole no Nico, no Sampson, no Pierce, and just say, oh my gosh, Tennessee's going to be awful this year. Awful this year. Oh, they can't put them in the top 5 or top 6 or anything. So I'm just going ahead and warning you, Tennessee is going to be predicted at SEC Media Days, in my opinion, anywhere from 7th to 9th. So get ready. But ESPN, which backed specifically on the Football Power Index, has Tennessee projected finished 5th. 5th in the Southeastern Conference with a 4.2% chance of winning the SEC. This is what the article has to say about that. This is from On3 discussing the article about ESPN's FBI predicted order of finish. The Tennessee Volunteers have found consistent success under Josh Heupel, and that program has gone a long time without. That program went a long time without. They saw the Volunteers go to the college football playoffs in 2024 after winning double-digit games, and for the second time in 3 seasons. Now, the next goal is to winning the SEC for the first time since 1998. Sidebar. That is not the next step. I'm not trying to devalue SEC championships. I'm not trying to say that they don't mean anything, but guys, let's be real here. We live in an expanded college football playoff era. There are 12 teams in the college football playoff right now. It is going to 14, probably 16 teams, okay, in the college football playoff. So while I'm not trying to devalue Southeastern Conference championships, at the end of the day, You're trying to get in the dance. And you can get in the dance and you have an opportunity to win the whole daggum thing without even playing in Atlanta. So I will disagree with that last sentence there. Quote, now the next goal has to be winning the SEC for the first time since 1998. No. Again, I'm not saying they don't want to do that. But college football playoff greater than SEC championship. Now, if you win SEC championship, you're getting that other goal in the college football playoff, so it can go hand in hand for sure. I'll go on here. Quote, of course, perhaps no SEC team has had as dramatic of an offseason as Tennessee. Last season's starting quarterback, Nico Iamaleava, and the school had a standoff over NIL that ended with his transfer to UCLA. That, ironically, led to Tennessee bringing in former UCLA quarterback Joey Aguilar. It's a difficult spot to be in, especially with the plenty of other roster turnover, but the Volunteers still have good odds to win the conference per ESPN. Well, if you think 4.2% chance is good odds, then okay, sign me up. This is going off the Football Power Index, which we went over last week and a little bit earlier in the show today. I'll kind of go back to that here in a moment. Texas A&M is at number 4 at 4.3% chance to win the SEC. Alabama is at number 3 at 17.2% chance to win the SEC. Georgia is number 2 at 26.9% chance of winning the SEC. And Texas is at number 1 with a 34.1% chance of winning the SEC. What teams come in after Tennessee? Again, A&M I do not think is going to be in front of Tennessee, but nonetheless, you've got LSU at number 6 with, in my opinion, the best quarterback in the league. Crappiest coach, but best quarterback. Ole Miss at number 7, 2.8%. Auburn at number 8, 1.8%. South Carolina at number 9, 1.8%. Oklahoma at number 10, 1.2%. Florida at number 11, 1% chance of winning the SEC. Missouri at number 12, 0.6% chance of winning the SEC. Number 13 is Arkansas, 0.5% chance. Number 14 is Kentucky at 0.1% chance. Vanderbilt is at number 15, 0.0% chance. And Mississippi State is at number 16 at 0.0% chance as well. Interesting stuff there for sure. Again, you go back and look at the Football Power Index. It came out with its updated offseason formatter. I guess the first one heading into the season. You got to start somewhere, and Tennessee was number 10. Okay, Tennessee was at number 10 in the rankings with a predicted 8.7 wins, 3.4 losses, 0% chance of winning the division. I thought that was a little tough. Just kidding. Haha, I'm a dad now. I can say those jokes. There's no divisions in the SEC. 4.2% chance of winning the conference, as we just went over. 38.5% chance of making the playoff, 5.6% chance of making the national championship, and 2.3% chance of winning the national championship. So all this article did that I'm reading over at On3 is take the FPI and take these percentages of winning the conference and put them in order. And based off the Football Power Index, it gives Tennessee the 5th best odds of winning the SEC, which, again, Tennessee's always ranked pretty high on the FPI. The FPI has always been pretty good to the University of Tennessee, even before Josh Heupel was here. But again, we'll see how that goes for sure. All right, that is going to do it here for this edition of Locked On Vols. Can't thank you enough for being here, making Locked On Vols a part of your morning routine. Hope to have Josh Ward on the show tomorrow. We'll make it a little Ward Thursday instead of Ward Wednesday. Again, traveling this week, getting back from Fayetteville, so schedule's all messed up a little bit. But do appreciate you guys for being here and making this a part of your morning routine, your first listen, your first watch each and every single day. We are free and available wherever you get your podcast. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Appreciate you. And until tomorrow, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, everybody.